champions of the past. We have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building. Marissa.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you.
Andrew K. just destroyed Jake Paul, the self-proclaimed boxing prodigy, for rejecting his fight offer. For a guy who prides himself on taking on anyone, anytime, Jake seems to have developed a sudden and suspicious case of stage fright when it comes to Andrew Tate. And Tate is not holding back. According to Tate, the problem child has turned into the avoidance expert. Let's be honest, it's not like Jake's calendar is packed with real challenges. After all, cherry-picking his opponents has been his signature move.
Clown on the fucking internet. If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate.
Of course, this isn't the first
time Jake's bravado has clashed with reality. Remember his open challenge to Conor McGregor that went nowhere? And his beef with Sean Strickland, another hollow flex. Tate made it clear. Jake thrives on headlines, not hard fights.
Me versus Andrew Tate.
Wow.
But here we are, so we could talk about that side note announcement. And please go watch the episode.
Hold on a second. What you mean you versus Andrew Tate? Because
no, I'm not saying a fight. I'm saying like our back and forth. He talks shit about me and like says he wants to beat my ass or can beat my ass and all this stuff.
I think there's a better fight to make.
I am so excited about this fight.
Andrew Tate has been training with the Major.
Andrew Tate has long been critical of this approach, and rejecting a fight with him only gave Tate more ammunition. Tate mocked Jake's excuses, from the terms weren't right to vague claims about career strategy. Tate, never one to mince words, labeled these excuses as nothing more than fear wrapped in PR jargon. According to Tate, Jake's entire career is built on avoiding real competition. And it's hard to argue when you look at the facts.
If my brother doesn't fuck you up, I will. And it has to go down. But I don't think he gets in the ring with one of them.
Jake's reluctance becomes even more glaring when you consider his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. Yes, Tyson is a legend, a name that will undoubtedly sell pay-per-view subscriptions by the millions. But Tyson is also 57 years old. For all his greatness, his prime is decades behind him. Any matchup with Jake will feel more like an exhibition than a true contest. Tate didn't hold back on this point either. He questioned how Jake could claim to be a disruptor in boxing while choosing to fight someone who's closer to collecting Social Security than competing at an elite level.
This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up. I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put three.
It's not just the Tyson fight that has people talking. It's the pattern. Jake has a history of challenging high-profile names without following through. Conor McGregor? Nothing came of it. Sean Strickland? Another flashy call-out that went nowhere. Jake's tactics are clear. Talk big, generate buzz, but never actually step into the ring with someone who poses a real threat. Andrew Tate has called Jake out repeatedly. And unlike some of Jake's other potential opponents, Tate is both willing and qualified to fight. He's a seasoned professional, someone who has faced and defeated world-class competition. A fight between Tate and Jake wouldn't just be a spectacle. It would be a true test of Jake's abilities. But instead of seizing the opportunity, Jake has chosen to stick to the safety of hand-picked opponents.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up.
This isn't just about Andrew Tate's frustration with Jake. It's about what Jake's actions mean for his legacy. Jake loves to portray himself as a disruptor, someone who's changing the game. But actions speak louder than words, and rejecting fights with legitimate contenders like Tate undermines that narrative. Instead of revolutionizing boxing, Jake seems more interested in turning it into a reality TV show where he controls the script. And the fans are catching on. Social media has been ablaze with criticism of Jake's decision to duck Tate. The public is starting to see through the carefully crafted image, realizing that Jake's rise in boxing has been less about skill and more about spectacle. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has only gained respect for his willingness to call out the hypocrisy and challenge Jake directly.
I think you're focused on boxing boxers, people that are in the space that you reside.
Jake, I know he's been talking shit about you, bro.
Yeah.
But with your blessing, can I beat the shit out of Andrew fucking Tate?
100%.
This whole saga highlights a deeper issue in the world of boxing. The sport has always been a mix of skill and showmanship. But Jake's approach leans heavily toward the latter. By prioritizing marketable matchups over meaningful competition, he's contributing to the erosion of boxing's integrity. Andrew Tate's criticism isn't just about his personal grudge with Jake. It's about defending the sport itself. What makes this situation even more frustrating is that a fight between Jake and Tate would have been a blockbuster event. The build-up alone would have been worth watching, with both men known for their charisma and ability to hype a fight. More importantly, it would have been an opportunity for Jake to prove himself against a real fighter. Instead, Jake's rejection sends a clear message. He's not ready for that level of competition. Tate isn't letting this go quietly. And why should he? Jake's decision to reject the fight isn't just a missed opportunity. It's a clear indication of where his priorities lie. For all his talk about wanting to be taken seriously as a boxer, his actions suggest otherwise.
But let's say he would call you to fight. Would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an all right guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens in the future.
But this time, it feels different. By rejecting a fight with Andrew Tate, Jake isn't just dodging another opponent, he's dodging a chance to prove himself. And the public knows it. Tate's relentless criticism has only amplified the scrutiny Jake is facing, making it harder for him to hide behind excuses. Now, compare that to Andrew Tate's offer. Here's a man with multiple kickboxing world championships under his belt. Someone who has fought at a professional level against legitimate competitors. This wouldn't be a fight against a retired athlete or an influencer learning to box. This would be a fight against someone who could expose any weaknesses Jake might have.
So he does tend to keep those guards down, but he's comfy at that point.
Jake's refusal comes at an interesting time, considering his widely publicized upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. Yes, Tyson is a name that carries massive weight in the boxing world. He's a legend, a household name, and someone still capable of generating buzz for any event. But let's not ignore the glaring reality. Tyson is 57 years old. While he remains in excellent shape, he's far from the ferocious fighter who ruled the heavyweight division decades ago. Fighting Tyson is a spectacle, not a statement. That it's a fight that guarantees headlines, pay-per-view sales, and social media buzz. But does it prove anything about Jake's skills as a boxer? Not really. Andrew Tate was quick to point out the irony. Jake is willing to step into the ring with someone nearly 3 decades older than him, but avoids a fighter in his prime who's eager to face him. This isn't just about the Tyson fight or even the rejected match with Tate. It's about a pattern that has defined Jake's career. Time and time again, Jake has chosen opponents who present the least risk while offering the most attention. Call it smart business or calculated marketing, but it's far from what fans expect from someone claiming to be a serious boxer. And fans are beginning to notice. Social media is buzzing with criticism of Jake's refusal to fight Tate. Many are calling out the hypocrisy of Jake's public persona versus his private actions. He talks a big game about disrupting boxing and proving himself. But his opponent choices tell a different story. For Andrew Tate, this situation is another opportunity to solidify his reputation. He's made it clear that he's not afraid of a challenge. And his willingness to call out Jake has only endeared him to fans who are tired of the circus act that boxing has become. Whether or not the fight ever happens, Tate has already won the battle of public perception. As for Jake, the clock is ticking. He can continue to build his career on spectacle. But at some point, the facade will crumble. Fans want real fights, not flashy call-outs and manufactured drama. Until Jake steps up and delivers, his legacy will remain as shallow as the celebrity boxing matches that made him famous. In the end, this isn't just about Jake Paul and Andrew Tate. It's about the future of boxing. Will it remain a sport defined by skill and competition? Or will it become a sideshow driven by clicks and headlines? Andrew Tate has made his stance clear. And Jake's decision to reject the fight speaks volumes about where he stands. For now, one thing is certain. Andrew Tate has destroyed Jake Paul. Not in the ring, but where it might hurt the most, his reputation.